Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honor Thy Podcast. This is the DCTV/Arrowverse podcast where we discuss everything to do with Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and in this episode, we're going to be discussing all of this week's episodes of the shows and previewing the next. As always, I'm your host, Declan McKinney, otherwise known as DCTV Talk. With me, as always, is my co-host, Dan McCants, otherwise known as Neil Kickpedia.
Hey, trying to hide my depression now because Arrow's over. So we've got the two
it's
worst
that
shows.
time.
We have the two worst shows to cover. Let's be positive.
Yeah, let's try and keep a mental mindset while we try and get through this. Because we need to get through the two painful ones before we get to the good one.
Yes.
And then after we finish that good one, we're never going to have to discuss it again until next season. Hey!
Nah.
And that's going to be sad. But,
Yay.
oh well. Until Comic-Con, until we get more news. Speaking of news, segue, right?
Oh,
Look at
nice.
that, right?
Nice
We can go to this
transition
now.
there.
I know, that was great, that. We've actually got some Arrow Season 7 news
Get in.
already. So, at the CW upfronts, the man himself, Stephen Amell, who I'm meeting on Saturday, can I just point out? He's, which obviously, if you can't tell, I mean, I'm just smiling in my room now because I just can't stop thinking about that beautiful man.
Oh
He has
my
announced
God.
some little details, which I've also just made a video about, plug. I'm on fire.
Stop plugging. There's no plugging.
I'm on fire tonight.
No.
So, I mean, comparison to last week, right? I am very prepared. I've got all the notes. I've even got notes for the episodes, which I never normally do. I know you can't tell because I'm like super professional and all that, but I literally have all the notes this week. I am very prepared. So, back
don't
on
need
track.
notes. I don't need notes. I'm just that good.
Fine, we'll see. It does better. Right. So, at the CW upfront, Stephen Amell he brought up 4 interesting points about Season 7, which I want to discuss. So, first off, let's get this one out of the way. After some rumours and after David Ramsey started speculating some stuff, Stephen Amell has come out and shot down the rumour. No Olicity baby next season. Thank the Lord above.
Yeah. I can't tell you, when I saw this news, I had the biggest sigh of relief ever.
I know.
Oh, and people, I remember at one point you actually thought it could happen. You thought because David Ramsey said, it could happen.
Only because it's because he's such a big Olicity shipper.
Yeah, but he's always going to fake stuff up, isn't he? Because he supports Olicity. Stephen is the realist. I bet even
Stephen.
I bet it's got to the point now where even he's just sick of it all. He's just like, please, just stop asking me about this. I want to see his face when we go to Heroes and Villains and just how depressed he is all day. And if it is, I'll just say it's because of all them Olicity questions he has to ask.
Yeah, I mean, literally, his reaction when someone asked him about Olicity Baby, his reaction. I mean, you saw it in his face how bad it was. But then even his reaction simply was, Oliver has his hands full, and I was like, yeah, good point.
Oh God, yeah.
They don't need a baby. They've got William.
I mean, this isn't a drama. This is a superhero show. You don't need a baby. The only time I would even accept it is in a series finale. That is it, because it would be difficult to work with a child on set anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
No, it's just I'm happy though. It's the best news I could have ever received, other than Batman being on the show.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit.
Oh, segue.
Well, we're not quite a segue. We're not quite there yet. We've still got some other Season 7 news to discuss. So this is proper Season 7 news. So, Arrow Season 7 has got 22 episodes instead of 23.
That's only a rumour.
Is it?
Yeah, it's only a rumour. It's not been confirmed.
I swear Stephen said this himself.
No. It was on Instagram somewhere, and they stated that it wasn't actually confirmed. Stephen never confirmed that there was only 22 episodes. He said that there could be, but it's a decision that the CW, I think he said, will make by, I think it's the end of June or start of July, before they start filming, just before then. Because the rumour is, obviously, that they'll have 22 because of the poor ratings, but it's not been confirmed. But to be honest with you, if it happens anyway, it won't really make that much of a difference because it's only one less episode.
It's one episode.
Yeah, so I can't. It's not a big fuss, but at the same time, if they did reduce it by one episode, I can't entirely blame them for saving money. And maybe it means the season might be the best season ever because they don't have to focus on one episode. Definitely not going to happen.
Doubt that, but I mean, obviously, we all clamour for less episodes on all the shows, even though I love all the shows so much, and I love the fact that obviously we get as much of them as possible. In terms of the storytelling, it does get sacrificed a little bit when it has to be stretched so thin across so many episodes. I mean, this is a complaint people have with the Marvel Netflix shows, and they're 13. So,
but Iron Fist Season 2 is going to have 10.
supposedly.
Supposedly, fingers crossed. And I think just I'm surprised, honestly, that they've not considered dropping down the amount of episodes, because the amount of, like, I know last 2 seasons especially, you know, how much people have loved, like, Legends of Tomorrow, and that show only has about, like,
Legends
16, 17, 18 episodes. It's, like, at a minimum 5 less episodes, and clearly people enjoy it because it's, you know, it's more condensed. They're able to put more into the season. To me, in Legends, there's a lot less filler, and even when they do filler, it's so minimal that it doesn't get overbearing. So I am surprised that the CW hasn't, like, looked at that and thought, do you know what, maybe we could reduce Arrow to that amount or the Flash to that amount, because it shows that it works, because people obviously love it. So I don't know, but it wouldn't bother me if it's 22. If it was, like, down to something along, like, 18, I think I'd be a bit more eye-opened about it, but I couldn't really be bothered if it's down to 22. It won't make much of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, Supergirl season 2 is 22. It doesn't make a difference. It's just the way it is. I mean, I think, like, say, if they consider dropping Arrow to around 16, 17, 18, I think that'd be a pretty legitimate option and something that would actually work quite well in the show's favor. Because even, like you say, like, Legends at that length works really well, and it would be a really tightly knit season, I think, with, like, maybe just a couple of filler episodes here and there.
Yeah.
And I think it worked for Legends. I think it could work for Arrow. So
yeah, same.
Yeah. They'll never do it with Flash and Supergirl. Those two popular.
No.
But also, he said this is also confirmed that Oliver is getting a goatee next season. He's finally getting the look. I mean, I don't know to what extent this is going to be. Like, I don't know if this is going to be, like, super, super long, typical Oliver Queen beard, or if it's going to be a bit more like Injustice 2 type thing. I imagine it'll be more Injustice 2, just because I think the super long goatee is going to be quite ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it'll just be the fact that he'll let his hair grow in prison, so by the time we reach him in 6 months, he probably just hasn't shaved. Because
I hope he kind of has, like, slick back hair a little bit.
Yeah, his slick back hair would be pretty cool. Also, I don't want the goatee to be fake. I want Stephen Amell to actually grow it, because if they put imagine a CGI goatee.
Yeah, it'd be I mean, we've already seen that in Justice League. You know, CGI facial hair, it doesn't work well. I mean, I was kind of thinking when I was making the video earlier, I was thinking, you know, we just have to keep an eye on Steven's facial hair as the months go on.
We'll be keeping an eye out for it on Saturday. Don't worry, we'll give you an update on it.
We'll give you a full-on report about Steven's facial hair. See if it's growing.
Declan's gonna go up and measure it with a ruler when he goes to meet him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be there. I'll be there to him face to face, so I'll be there to be sure to ask him if he's growing his beard, and I'll be hauled out by security. But I mean, I'm excited to see this look just because it's classic Oliver Queen. Like, I remember back in Arrow season 1, back in the pilot, when, like, he has, when he's on the island, he has that look. Like, I mean, obviously you find out in season 5 that's all fake, but, like, you know, even that look was very cool, and that was very typical Oliver Queen. So I'm excited for that, but I don't think it'll be like that at all. I think it'll be a lot more slicked back, and then his beard will be a bit more like Robert Downey Jr. type thing, I think. That kind of goatee. But it's a cool look. I actually want to see if Steven could really grow his hair that long, because his hair is always pretty short, and every season he's, like, skins it. So I kind of want to see how quickly he can grow that hair back. I imagine it's going to be. I think his hair will be a wig, because even in the flashbacks, his hair was always a wig. So
yeah,
I imagine his hair will be a wig. But the beard, I mean, he can grow a pretty big beard, so I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, beard wise is fine. I think hair wise is more the issue at hand.
Yeah. But he also was speaking about something he's very excited about, which is that Arrow Season 7 is going to be introducing a new storytelling style. He didn't give any other details on that, but it's just a new way of actually going about the story. Now, at first, I thought, well, they're moving away from the flashbacks, but then they did that this season, in Season 6. I mean, there were a couple episodes with flashbacks, but it still felt very similar in Season 6 to how it's normally felt. Like, I didn't really feel any different, whereas I feel like this might be going in a different direction.
But remember back when they said Season 6 was going to be a soft reboot?
Yeah.
And they said it the same for Season 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've actually come up with a theory for this. Maybe they'll do flash forwards.
I was thinking that. Maybe him out of prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, because I think it'd be like, kind of like, obviously, if you won't have watched this, but on Lost, what they did with Lost when they switched it from doing flashbacks
I know what you mean.
to flash forwards, and how that really, like, made it more interesting. I think that'd be really cool to see, like, having a flash forward to Oliver out of prison, or even like in the
cuts back to him inside of prison.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool to see.
And then perhaps it builds up. I mean, I don't know, because the only thing is with that is I don't know how long Oliver's going to be in prison for, because I imagine he's going to be out by mid-season. Like if
I wouldn't mind if he was out by mid-season. I'd be happy with that, because at least it means that there's like, at least it feels like there's like consequences, because that's the problem I've always had with these shows. It's like whenever the hero's like under threat or going to prison. With Barry, he was literally only in jail for 3 episodes and got released pretty much. Flashpoint, and then it was like, oh, Barry's in the Speed Force. He's out by the next episode. Please, at the
Flashpoint was only 1 episode.
At the minimum, keep him in there until episode 3. Preferably, I would rather have him out in the mid-season finale, where like the whole city's in ruins and he has to like reclaim his city. Because I still think season 7 could be the last, so I think that'd be perfect build-up for it.
Only problem with that is the crossover, because I mean Steven obviously announced
Roy Harper is the Green Arrow.
In a minute.
Roy Harper
okay, maybe, but the thing is, the way Steven talks about the crossover next season, he acts like he's in it.
Well, I didn't they say as well that Arrow is like the most important part of the crossover? I'm sure I read that somewhere as well, that they said that about it.
Yeah. But then it's just like, is Oliver going to be the Green Arrow? Because it's just like, I mean, obviously we'll get onto the season finale of Arrow later, but Diggle has the suit now, and then Roy's coming back because his name was cleared. So I don't know. It's interesting. I would like Oliver to be in there until the mid-season finale. I think that'd be a good way to end like the mid-season before we go on the Christmas break, is to just have Oliver come out. That'd be the ending of the mid-season finale. But I don't know. It's the crossover that confuses me. But maybe we will have a different Green Arrow for the crossover, which would be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Right, speaking of the crossover, we have official confirmation of what the crossover is, and this is huge news. This is literally amazing news for anyone who's just a fan of DC Comics in general. So the crossover is going to be taking place in Gotham, and will introduce Batwoman.
Nice.
I am officially hyped as hell for this. I mean, these crossovers just get better and better each year. Like, I mean, Invasion was pretty good. Crisis on Earth X was amazing.
Apart from the listy stuff. Apart from
the very ending where they completely gate crash Barry and Iris' wedding. But this sounds even better. I mean, we're going to Gotham, which we've never been to before in the Arrowverse, as far as I remember.
Nope, it's only been mentioned on Supergirl and Arrow.
Yeah. We've been to Bloodhaven, but not Gotham. So we're going to Gotham, which I'm really excited to see how they do it and how it looks. Just see how they do it. Because obviously, I mean, it's going to be filmed in Vancouver, obviously, but I really want to see how they kind of edit the kind of like color grading and things like that. Just see how they change it and different sets and stuff. Also, Batwoman is going to be introduced here, which is, I can't help but feel this is a backdoor to like introduce Batwoman into maybe her own show if they want to go down that direction.
Yeah, I feel like it. I think DC would let it happen as well, because I mean it's Batman related, but I think it's obscure enough that I don't think they would have plans for her in the films. So I could see it happening.
They won't get to that for another 20 years. It's fine.
Yeah.
we haven't even had the Batman film yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So it's probably going to be like 50 years by the time we have like the fucking Batwoman film. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried.
I'm really excited about Batwoman though. I think that's actually a really interesting choice. Because it is something different. I mean, I would have maybe, like, out of the Bat family members, like, she's kind of the most obscure one. She's kind of the weirdest one out of them, and, like, the least known.
Yeah.
Because you could have had, like, any of the Robins or even Nightwing, especially because Bloodhaven's been quite relevant in the Arrowverse, especially in Arrow. Like, you could have had Nightwing, but I don't know. Like, I was really expecting a Nightwing reference in that episode, The Dragon, in Season 6. I was really expecting that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about Batwoman. I really can't wait to find out who they're getting to play her. I'm just saying Madeleine Petsch would be perfect.
Oh my god.
After her in Riverdale this season with the bow and arrow, I just want her on Arrow now. Please. And she has the red hair. She already has it. I mean, I know it's a wig in the comics, but still. It's fine. We can change things. But I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how big a role Gotham's going to play in the crossover. I hope, like, Warner Brothers don't go ahead and say, oh, you can only use it for like X amount of time, because I hope it like plays a big role in the actual crossover. Like I want it to take
place all in Gotham. Like I want all 4 episodes to be in Gotham.
That'd be pretty cool.
Like I want like a full on like war in Gotham. That'd be awesome. And it's like, and we must get some Batman references. That'd be really cool. And just add to the emphasis. I mean, Batman will never show up in these shows probably, but you know, even just a bit more confirmation that he does exist. I mean, obviously we know Bruce Wayne's out there. We know at least on Earth 38 Batman exists out there, so he must exist here somewhere. And if Batwoman exists, then Batman does exist if they're sticking to the comics. So because Batwoman is inspired by Batman, so going by that logic, he does exist. But I'm very, very excited about this. I don't know how this will rival against Crisis on Earth X, because I think that was really great.
I'm more critical of it. I'm more critical because
I know you were.
Yeah, I didn't like the Olicity scenes. The second episode, I thought was the weakest one.
Arrow episode was very weak. Yeah, the Arrow episode was very
and it was
weak.
directed by James Bamford. I didn't understand that, how the episode was so bad for a James Bamford episode. Made me cry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that this will be really, and it sounds amazing. It just sounds like a big Dreams fan, fan's dream come true. There, took me a while, but we got there in the end. But I'm very excited about this. Very excited.
I am as well. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the shows. We're gonna start off with our favorite Supergirl, and that is we'll start off with the episode entitled "Shelter from the Storm." Overall, I'd actually say I'm a bit more positive on this episode than I think a lot of people. I think that this episode was probably the best one we've had since its return. I actually enjoyed quite a lot of elements in it, and overall, I had a decent time with this episode. I feel like I'm starting to get back into Supergirl a little bit now. The more it goes on, and the more we're starting to settle back into it. It's still nowhere near as interesting as it was at the start of the season, but I'll get onto that in the preview for the next episode because there's something I want to bring up there. But what are your overall thoughts?
Okay, I thought it was good. All right, it wasn't a great episode. It was better than what we've had. I would say, since the mid-season finale. I'd say it's the best episode since then. At the same time, my hate for Antonio Negret will never go away, so I cannot say it's anything more than good. Like, I thought that, I mean, everyone knows that I like to nitpick, especially Supergirl. But there were just a few things in this episode that I didn't personally like. A few scenes that I found really, cringy or poorly done. Because, I like to spot these things in Supergirl. Because I get so bored, it's like, alright, let's just find something to criticise, just find something entertaining. Because at this point, and I know that a lot of people are saying this now, but the only reason I'm watching is for the Samantha and Rain storyline. That's literally it. But it's getting to the point now where I'm kind of getting bored of having to constantly rely on just one storyline to, watch an entire season. And that's what it's feeling like for me. It's getting a bit exhausting. I mean, obviously, I will see it through to the end. Because regardless of how shit it is, it can't be Arrow Season 4. So I will watch it, but it was a good episode. It just doesn't make me any more hyped for the show, especially for the next episode, which we'll talk about after.
Yeah, I mean, I like this episode. I feel like this episode was really dark. There was literally, because normally, especially Supergirl recently, has always had a couple of scenes in the episode where it's dead just happy and jokey and quite silly. This episode didn't have that. It only really had one scene which was like that, which was the scene with John's father, which wasn't even necessarily silly. It's just more, the kind of funny scenes you normally get with him. So I found that episode quite weird in that sense, because it kind of felt a bit different, but I think that's better. I'd much rather it be darker, because do you remember at the start of the season they were setting it up to be dead dark, and I remember the season 3 first trailer they released at Comic-Con was very dark, and I was really looking forward to a darker tone for Supergirl, and we only really just got back to that in this episode. Mm-hmm. Also, I think we need to talk about Ruby.
Oh god. That girl cannot act. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't
Emma
like
Tremblay. I'm sorry. It's you just.
And the worst part is her grandmother is almost as bad. The whatever her name is.
Getting hunted by Rain. Yeah, the one from Get Out.
Yeah, I didn't like her I thought she was just so bad. I mean, that whole death scene that she had was so cringy. It was she goes outside, it's just
screaming at Rain.
It's like Ray. It's just fucking get stabbed, and then the way she dies in the DEO is, oh my god, awful. I was laughing so much when that happened. I
was just laughing when Rain just has her hand around her throat, and it's
it's clear that she's only doing this for the paycheck. I know people like her as an actress, but even in Get Out, she was like one of the worst bits of it. And it's just no. I'm happy that she's gone, but her character was so shit this episode. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, she was just kind of like a hanging plot thread that kind of needs to be cut off, and I feel like we've got that now, obviously. Also, Ruby was being hunted by Rain, and she was officially the dumbest character of the season.
Yeah.
Because she sees. I mean, I did find it quite interesting the fact that Rain's mask fell off, and then Ruby saw that it was Sam. But then, did she pick up the gun? What did she do? She picked up the gun, didn't she? And then she like tried to shoot or Ray or something. What did she pick up? She picked up like a weapon of some kind, and tried to, do something with it. And then, like, I think Alex just had to jump in last minute and save her, or like Supergirl did, or something. And it's just like, it was so annoying. Like, Ruby's
so
also
useless,
the worst thing about the season.
Yeah.
It's like William.
Child
William
actors are never good. Child actors are never good.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
Please just. I was like, because there's a moment in this episode where Ruby could die, and I was thinking, please do it, please do it. Just put her out of her misery, please. And it sounds harsh because I'm basically advocating child killing, but the thing is, when you've got such an annoying character like this just dragging down your season, like I feel like it'd be so much better if she's gone. Yeah, I'm sorry, Emma Tremblay, but I just don't like your character at all.
Yeah.
And also your brother's a lot better of an actor. Just saying. Her brother is actually really good.
Who is her brother? I don't even know.
Jacob Tremblay. He was in Wonder, where he played that kid with the facial disfigurement.
She's his brother.
Yeah, she's actually in that film. She's actually in it for one scene. Jacob Tremblay is also in the next Predator film.
Damn.
He's actually a good actor. But besides that, one element I really liked in this episode was the Lena and Kara thing. Now, this is like something that's been building up the past couple episodes, is the kind of conflict between Supergirl and Lena.
I didn't like this.
No, I do, because I like this because it's like it's almost like the opposite. This sounds weird, but almost like the opposite of a love triangle, and that does not come out the way I wanted it to. But like it's more like a hatred triangle, because you have Lena and Kara, who are best friends, and you have Lena and Supergirl, who are at odds now. And obviously Lena doesn't know that Kara and Supergirl are the same person, which I still don't buy, but hey. But obviously Lena and Kara are best friends, then Lena and Supergirl. It just creates like this really interesting story that they're going to be playing on next week, or this week, it seems.
It's not that I didn't sorry. It's not I didn't enjoy it. I think it was just the reasoning for their conflict annoyed me because of the fact of how Lena had created her own kryptonite, and then she wants to give it to Kara to use against like Rain. Yeah,
I think Kara's completely unreasonable.
Yeah, that felt really out of character, and like she was just being really irrational. So I kind of understood. I don't know if they did that on purpose to make you understand why Lena turns on, and maybe they're trying to set her up as more of like a sympathetic villain for season 4. I hope so. Because that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, I just thought Kara in that scene was just really out of character, and I saw people online being like hating on Lena, saying, "Oh, her reason for not liking Supergirl is unjustified." Whereas to me, I completely understood, but at the same time, I still didn't like how Kara was around her. I thought it was just really out of character. But in terms of the actual like that idea of having Supergirl and Lena as enemies, but Kara and Lena as friends, that's a really interesting dynamic, and I hope they continue that into season 4, because I think it'd be really interesting, because I think at this point it's pretty much confirmed that Lena will be the main villain. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make her the main villain in season 4.
Yeah, it seems like that's what they're setting up here, and I really hope they go through with that, because Lena, obviously, the whole point of her character really has been, I'm not just your average Luthor, I'm a lot more than that. I am a good person. I'm not like my brother or my mother. But I think obviously there is that dark side to Lena, and we start to see that now. And I really hope they do go full through with that and make her the villain, because she really deserves that, I think. And also I think that would create a really interesting season 4 if Lena was the villain. Because I think Supergirl has always suffered with its villains. Obviously season 3 with Rain has been by far the best villain. But I feel like Lena having that personal connection would be something that's really great. And they tried to do that with Rain this year, but it didn't work as well, because they did introduce Samantha this season as well. So it didn't quite have the time it needed. But I feel like with Lena, it would really work. But also, do you feel like they're setting up like Kara's identity reveal to Lena?
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like that's probably going to happen in season 4.
See, I don't know if they'll do it this season or next season. I can't figure it out, really.
I don't know. I would say most likely season 4.
Because that'd be good leverage for Lena, if in season 4, if she knew Kara was Supergirl. I mean, the fact that she doesn't know it already baffles me, but...
Yeah.
And not even just because of the look thing, not even because of the glasses, because obviously that's just the thing that you have to accept, but even just because of how smart Lena is, I don't buy that at all. But I hope that gets revealed this season, because I really want to see that happen, or at least next season. Legion of Superheroes kind of came back in full force this week. We had Brainiac 5, who was just amazing as always, trying to kiss Win. I do love Jesse Rath in this role. He's so funny. But Mon-El actually at the end of the episode decides he comes back and he stays, and now he's back on Earth in this time period, and this is where he's staying, which is obviously something we all kind of expected, because Mon-El will probably never leave the show, because Caramel is officially Endgame. But I mean, the Legion do come back in the finale, so I guess it's all irrelevant.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Mon-El this season, although he has been a bit annoying at times, and he has been, especially in the action sequences, completely useless.
Running up to Rain with a fucking dagger.
What a scene. I mean, I have liked him a lot more recently since he got his Valor suit, where he actually looks, really cool, because that suit is great. Because that's one thing I will give Supergirl. All their costumes are great. And I feel like Mon-El just sticking around, because obviously Brainiac 5 says to him, if one Legionnaire stays back, then they have like 50% increase of defeating Rain.
Yeah.
So Mon-El goes, and this again creates more friction between him, Imra, and Kara, because Imra basically sees the fact that Mon-El is still in love with her, and he wants to go back and what have you. Which, did they officially break up, or did they not?
I don't know. But to be honest with you, I care about her character so little that I really don't care. Like, it's
a shame. I like her as an actress a lot.
I don't know.
I mean like as a person, I think she's really. Yeah. She seems like really sound, and I feel like she's kind of been given a disservice.
Yeah, I just don't think with this role they've really done enough with her character, because I don't care about her. Like, the fact that she's gone now for about 4 episodes. I couldn't care less. Like, I feel like what they've done with the Legion so far has been so disappointing, because yes, we've had Brainiac 5, who is good, really good, but I just felt with Imra they've done nothing with her. They've just put her there as this kind of like obstacle for Caramel and nothing else really. I mean, they've tried to give us some story, but it just hasn't worked, because I don't find it that compelling or memorable. And so I don't know. I felt they've wasted her with the character, unless they turn it around in the last 2 episodes, which I don't think they will.
No, and it's a shame, because the Legion of Superheroes are so cool, and I remember when they first announced them, I was so hyped, and I mean I have liked them for the most part personally, but it's just they've never really got as involved as I thought they would. I thought they were going to be like this new team for Kara, because that's the thing. Supergirl's never really had a team. Obviously, you've got Team Arrow, you've got Team Flash, but you've never, and you've got the Legends, but you've never had a Team Supergirl. It's always just been her, and then occasionally someone else will go out with her, like Mon-El or James or something. So I was kind of looking forward to this team. But they just Brainiac 5 doesn't go out and fight because he's, in, as Ned from Spider-Man would call it, the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
But then Imra has only ever gone out and fight once, I think, which was the episode she was introduced. And we've barely even seen it. I don't even remember what her powers are. Is she telekinetic? I think that's what she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
So I've only ever seen her do that once. And then even Mon-El, who's started to get a bit more involved now, his only plot device in that is to introduce cape tricks, which is stupid. So it's just it's really weird. But I mean, Mon-El staying is exactly what I thought it was going to be. We all kind of saw it coming. So, and it just means Caramel is coming in full force.
Yay! No.
So, do you want to do the preview for the next week?
Okie dokie. So, next week's episode is entitled "Shelter from the Storm."
No, it's not. It's called The Fanatical.
Oh my god.
You've got the wrong one.
No, it's... No.
That's the episode we just spent 10-15 minutes reviewing.
We were doing so well for professionalism, and I
know,
failed.
We were doing so well this week.
Fuck's sake. Alright, so, the upcoming episode...
This is the James episode.
Okay. So, the upcoming episode of Supergirl is The Fantastical. I think that's how. Yeah, fantastic. I'll stick with that. It sounds cool. When Tanya, a disciple of Kovil's, that's how you say it, I don't know, escapes from what's left of his cult, she gives Kara and James a journal that could hold the key to saving Sam. Someone learns Guardian's identity and threatens to expose James if he doesn't do what they ask. James contemplates what it means to be a black vigilante without wearing a mask in America.
Right, we're getting SJW right off the bat. So, okay, I mean, this is the James Olsen-centric episode that we've all kind of been waiting for.
Remember when we had a James-centric episode last season and how shit it was?
I mean, I made a video on this a while back when kind of first rumored, and I really like the fact that James Olsen's identity is kind of getting outed in this episode. Now, I've watched the inside for this episode, the little preview that the CWs do. I just watched it before we started recording, and they show the scene where he gets unmasked in this preview, and it seems to be the cops who know his identity, which is weird because then it says that someone knows it and is going to threaten to expose him, and I don't think the cops would do that. So
maybe the story was changed in between the synopsis or whatever.
Very, very, quite possibly. But yeah, basically what happens is he's in a fight. He's taking on some people from Kovil's cult, and then his mask gets kicked off, and the police come in and they see him. That's what happens. That's how it goes down. And I mean, I really like James as a character, just because Mechard Brooks, who plays him, is so sound, and he's just like, I've always felt bad for him because he's such a nice guy, and he's so charismatic, and it's just like he's always shoved aside as his character.
Yeah.
Especially this season, like he's been so shoved aside this season. I thought it was bad last season, but oh my god, it's even worse. Like his only device this season has been
Lena's love interest. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I mean, this episode is pure filler.
Yeah.
Even when you look at the promo for this episode, which the promo for this is quite frankly hilarious, given the fact that they're trying to push the idea of being a black vigilante and a black man in America under the under the impressions of a white police force, because the implication is he gets arrested and pushed on harder because he's a black man, and these are all
basically Black Lightning. They're ripping off Black Lightning.
But what's hilarious about that is when you look at the promo for the episode, the music that they play in the background is all just urban hip hop, which really doesn't help your message. And I saw everyone saying this in the comments of this video, and I completely agree. Like it's quite hilarious given the fact the message of the episode, and they go and play that in the background. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for James and Guardian centric episode because I've kind of wanted one just to kind of give Guardian something to do. Because I have a question, right? What happened to that storyline in season 2 of Wynn, James, and Lyra? Where's Lyra gone?
I think you mentioned this, didn't you, in a video you made? What was it like?
I made this video a long time ago.
I don't know because I think it's because the actress is busy on another show, or maybe they just forgot about her character. I have no idea. Like they've never addressed it, have they?
Back then,
because they never addressed it, have they?
And this is one thing I wanted to bring up. I said I wanted to bring up something earlier. They're bringing back the cult of Supergirl in this episode, which is actually a storyline I've really liked. I really like because earlier on in the season, again, it was like a darker sort of thing, like a bit more of a creepier thing they had going on. What they should have done this season, and I figured this out now. What they should have done is they should have had Supergirl taking on Reign as normal, have all that, that's fine, and the Legion and everything, that's fine. But to give James a story, he should have been dealing with the cult.
Yeah, I think that would have been good.
The B story of the season. Have James as Guardian working with Wynn, taking down the cult. That would have been, and that's what he seems to be doing in this episode. And I really want to see how that plays out, because if that was good, I'm gonna have massive amounts of regret because I was figuring out when I watched this preview, I was like, that's what they should have done this season with this cult, because I really like that cult idea. And it's a grounded, realistic threat. You don't need someone like Supergirl to take down a cult. You need like a grounded hero, and that's what Guardian is. So that's what they should have done, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this episode is going to be filler. That's just the way it is. We have to accept that. But, I mean, we are going to get a couple of filler episodes still to go.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of looking forward to it just to see if James gets some good character development. And also, this new Tanya character looks quite cool and interesting, even though she'll probably only be it for one episode. But, hey. So, The Flash. Episode was entitled Think Fast, which sounds like a finale title, but It wasn't. Well, the actual Flash finale this season's got a much better name. So we have the episode entitled "Think Fast." So this was the episode where we've got, what was it, 12 hours left before the Enlightenment, and they basically look at all the options. And Barry, well, it wasn't Barry, it was Cisco and Caitlin decide that they should go into Flash time with Barry to basically save these hostages and stop DeVoe. And it didn't quite go to plan.
Nope, as usual.
As we'd expect. One thing I will say, the opening sequence, the hallway fight with DeVoe, was amazing.
Yeah, that was
really
pretty
good.
dope.
Ripped off Daredevil, but still
ripped off
very
Daredevil.
good nonetheless.
Daredevil
I
did
like
it
the
better.
fact that yeah, true. But I like the fact that DeVoe got to show off, because even though I don't like the fact that DeVoe has all these powers, I've said this many times, I've been very vocal on this. I like the fact that it got to demonstrate all the metahuman powers in one scene, and also if you notice the camera, as far as I remember, the camera doesn't cut once.
Nope.
It's all one shot, which was really nice. It just kind of spins around. So I really like that scene, and the music was great as well. That was a really good scene. Easily, probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire season, actually.
Yeah.
Really good. Diggle was in this episode.
But completely useless.
Yeah, completely useless. Basically, DeVoe interpretates him at the very beginning. He's actually the first character you see. And he gets into Argus, and then the real Diggle shows up to do a bit of exposition, and then he goes away. And also to have a sick joke, as always.
Oh, God's sake.
I mean, that was I did find it quite amusing when Barry first went and got him, and they're all like scrambling around for a bin. And then he comes back, and then he's just like, I hate you. But, I mean, we've seen this joke so many times now.
Yeah,
it's just like... And you think Diggle would kind of be over it now?
No, but this is Diggle. Diggle's just...
Diggle's
meh.
Diggle.
Diggle's Diggle. He does what Diggle does.
I'm also meeting Diggle on Saturday. Can I just mention?
my... Stop these plugs for here. Save it for the end of the podcast.
Okay, fine. To be honest, the other two... Actually, one of them is relevant. I'm also meeting Daniel Panabaker. There you go.
No.
Just seeing as we're talking about Flash. So, Flash time came back in this episode, which I think I said this last week, but I've got to actually give it to the writers because I gave them a lot of slack back after they came back from mid-season, because I thought they are never going to use this Flash time thing again. After they used it in the courtroom, I was like, that's a weird, unexplained power that Barry's got now, and they're never going to use it again. But they've used it twice since then, so well done.
Wow. Why didn't he use it all them other times if he can control it?
Yeah. So yeah, he can control it now, and we have some funny, silly training montages with Caitlin and
because
Cisco.
we all love that, don't we? We love.
Yeah.
Yay.
And it's just, I mean, it's just Cisco and Caitlin falling over for like 40 minutes. I mean, it does lead to an interesting reveal, which I guess is kind of the biggest thing to talk about.
But you made a big rant about it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Flash time thing, which this episode was kind of promoting. I mean, that part of it succeeds. They do save these hostages. But it doesn't really matter because DeVoe still gets the last metahuman he needed and starts the Enlightenment, so yeah. But we'll get to that, back to that.
So isn't this just literally a copy and paste of Season 3's penultimate episode where they had to break into something to stop it from happening? They think they've succeeded, but then the villain goes ahead with their plan, and it seemingly is going to go all ahead.
The writers really don't try, do they?
Oh my god. Oh god.
I wonder if DeVoe will disintegrate after they defeat him.
Will Iris kill him? She will kill him by shooting him, and then she will state, "No,
yeah, she'll get a pistol in the
we
back.
are the Flash."
Oh, if she actually pulls out a pistol and shoots DeVoe in the back, that'd be amazing. That's how he goes back to the wheelchair, gets paralyzed. Predictions. So during these Flash time training, Caitlin actually gets knocked out and passes out, and she has a bit of an Arrow style flashback where you basically, it kind of hints at a couple times that Caitlin is repressing something from her past. She goes sees that wonderful therapist who is easily my favorite character this season. She goes and sees her.
Fuck that therapist.
All these scenes are so annoying. Why do they keep doing?
It's like I see her face and I'm just like, skip.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, so you find out, you see her get hit over by, like she falls off a bike and then gets hit by a car. And why are you laughing at that? And she looks in the mirror and she sees Killer Frost. So this basically means that Killer Frost has always been inside of her, even when she was younger, which makes no sense.
That's why I'm laughing, because I know what's going to come up. You're going to say how it makes no sense because they established that she got it in the particle accelerator.
I mean, so she got these powers, right, back in season 1, although we never saw her until season 3 because Flashpoint explains everything. But now they want to retcon that and go, no, she actually has had them all the time, which doesn't make any sense because...
Metahumans didn't exist before the particle accelerator explosion.
And the problem I have with it as well is, and this is just a normal human common sense thing, right? Because if Caitlyn was Killer Frost back then, even just for one moment in her life, which we have to assume it was, you'd remember that. So why was it such a shock to Caitlyn when she first became Killer Frost? Because if that happened to you before, which she clearly remembers it, then why is it a shock to you? Foolish writing. I mean, it's just idiotic. And I mean, I can't wait to see how they BS their way through this, because it's going to be brilliant to see how they try and damage control this.
It's going to be so funny.
I mean, I made a video on it. There's a lot of theories going around, and I feel like I think the better theory is that her mother, being the mad scientist that she is, experimented on her to try and save her father, who we know died due to ALS.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
But I know deep down that the Flash writers, in their little minds, what they think is, oh no, we're going to make her dad a metahuman. That's what they're going to do. That's not what they should do, but that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be like, out of nowhere, they're going to say, oh, your dad died because of his metahuman powers. They had an effect on him.
Dad is Mr. Freeze.
Cool party.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
God.
I'd accept it for that. If they started doing like Mr. Freeze puns, that'd be amazing. I mean, she's already done a couple of them herself, so that's fine. Even Savitar was getting in on that in season 3. So that's fine. So yeah, I think it'd be good if they said that she was experimented on. I think that'd be a good option, but I don't think they will. I think it's gonna be something to do with her dad. I wouldn't even be surprised if her dad came back to life next season. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Oh god, don't know what that was. Random shit going off on my phone.
Yeah, I thought that you were getting up the Savitar clip there.
Maybe I
So you
was.
could say-
Maybe I was.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think they're going to do with this?
I have absolutely no idea, because this is the Flash and Kreisberg's not there, so the writers are probably just like, we do whatever the fuck we want. Like, honestly, at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like ever since Kreisberg left, or was forcibly removed, it seems like Todd Helbing's just kind of been let loose.
Yeah.
And I like Todd Helbing, but I don't think he should have the amount of creative control he does, because this season has kind of fell apart. But with this storyline, I mean, not only doesn't it make sense, but I know it's going to get resolved in some stupid way.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really stupid. It's gonna be
bullshit.
absolute bullshit. Oh, I had to do it. It's the best quote from season 3.
What about calcified Speed Force energy? I think you're forgetting about that brilliant bit of writing.
It's great, but it's not as much BS as calcified. I don't know.
Cold.
This does relate to it. It's about cold.
Oh man. So, I mean, I kind of want to end it there, but there is one more thing I want to talk about.
Oh god.
So DeVoe completes the Enlightenment. He busts into the Speed Lab and just, because although they take out one satellite using that
He just gets another
little bomb, using that lovely little bomb that Aminette Black gave him last episode. Yeah, he just gets another one. He goes to Star Labs and uses that one. So the plan didn't work as always, and so DeVoe starts his thing, and now everyone is going to become a dum-dum. And one thing that's quite funny is that they do say that this is actually Harry. Like, Harry is experiencing these symptoms, which, again, I don't really understand, because the Enlightenment hasn't started yet.
Like, how did the dark matter in his brain reduce his... I don't know. They've done such a shit job of explaining it. Like, it's so poor. I don't get what they're doing
It
anymore.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost like they just thought about, hey, let's just do this as a trial run, for like trying to experiment with what the Enlightenment will actually do. But I don't think they actually wrote it properly to fit in with how the Enlightenment is meant to get to everyone, because it feels very separate in terms of what it is. So I think that's the worst part for it. If they had made it as if DeVoe accidentally released a bit of the whatever science that makes the Enlightenment happen, like the thing that makes people go dum-dum, and he accidentally released it into Harry, then I feel like it would make sense. But the way that they've done it, it just felt really random.
This season makes my head hurt.
Oh,
and
definitely.
also, one thing I want to bring up, I mean, this doesn't mean anything at all, but have you noticed that it's been like 3 separate episodes of The Flash this season, but each one of these episodes, and it's all in the promos as well, there's been like 3 episodes with 3 separate promos that just it's just Barry going DeVoe. It's just him screaming DeVoe.
Yeah,
I mean,
screaming DeVoe.
it's quite cool to be honest, but I don't know why I just wanted to bring that up. I just did. Also, oh yeah, there is another relevant scene where Iris goes and gets Marley's DeVoe after having an argument with Harry about it. Which, can I just say, Tom Cavanaugh, you are the one shining light. I mean, you're so good.
Tom Cavanaugh is the best.
I mean, just seeing him knocking at, door number 4 was great. So anyway, they go to Marlise's apartment, and Iris, being actually quite smart, feels the teapot and goes, oh, okay, it's still warm, she's here. And then Harry goes, oh yeah, that means we can have tea. Good line. And they actually meet up with Marlise, and they've basically turned her to Team Flash. So in the synopsis for next week's episode, which you'll quite thankfully read out in a bit, it does say they get a new ally. That ally is Marlise DeVoe, which I'm happy about. I love Marlise. She's my favorite new character this season. She's brilliant. So I really want to see how they kind of use her next episode, and maybe even next season if they go into that. I doubt that, but I kind of want her to stick around. But we have Marlise on side now, so that's all good.
Yeah.
I do quite. It's just all the lines Harry had, where he's just like, where he needs to put himself into Vo's shoes. Like, oh, maybe Marlise has a pair of shoes I could put myself in. And it's just like, oh yeah, now we know where Marlise is, and he goes, room number 4. Oh, Tom Cavanaugh is he's just an international treasure. He just is.
We can't get rid of him. I'm so annoyed he's not going Heroes and Villains. It makes me cry.
He should be. I think he went last year, didn't he?
No.
No, he is going this year.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah,
He cancelled.
Oh, did he cancel? I didn't know that. Okay.
Cry.
So, anyway, this week we have the finale of The Flash Season 4, entitled We Are the Flash. Read out the synopsis, would you please?
Team Flash gets help from a surprising ally in their battle against DeVoe.
That's it. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Arrow finale synopsis was vague as well.
Hey, at least it had a little bit more to add. All right, it had a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So, the promo for this episode actually looks quite interesting. So, Barry
go into his
goes
mind.
into the Mindscape. Yeah, he goes into the Mindscape by actually using DeVoe's chair, so they're finally bringing that back. And we finally get that iconic comic book image we've been waiting for, the Flash strapped to the thing, with the things come out of his head. Kind of been waiting for that, and we finally get that there. So it's all going to be a battle inside of his head. And one thing I really like is that DeVoe actually looks like he originally did in this episode. He's in the chair, and he's looks like he did with all the Speed Force symbols on him and stuff. Love that, all about that. Should have done that all season, but now, one thing I want to bring up here is that when he's in this Mindscape, this is also where he goes back to the scene with the boss metas. So, Ralph is in this episode. Ralph comes back in this episode as regular Fat Ralph, and then also as the elongated man. So I feel like both of these characters can exist in this same point because it's all in the Mindscape and it's not real.
Yeah, because it's not real. It's just in DeVoe's mind. Yeah.
So perhaps this means that Ralph actually is dead?
Damn, that'd be really, really.
It'd be surprising. I didn't expect them to go down that route. I didn't think they would actually do that. I thought Ralph was going to come back, definitely. I thought they were going to end up... Because from the set photos, we see Barry back at the bus, and I thought he's going to save all the bus metas. And that obviously would include Ralph. But it seems like this is all taking place in the Mindscape, so... I guess Ralph actually is dead.
Yeah.
Unless they do bring it. I mean, he still could be alive, but I can't quite see how they're going to do that now.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more complicated now we know why he goes back to that scene, like where it all started. I think now that we now know why, I think that's just made it a bit more hard to believe that he could live. I mean, I'm not going to completely rule it out, but I'm more against than for it, like in terms of it happening.
Yeah, I think that I actually really like how the world looks in this episode, because not the Mindscape, the actual world, because it's dead post-apocalyptic now.
Yeah.
It basically looks like Thanos clicked his fingers, and everything's just kind of destroyed. So I quite like that, but everyone's just turning dumb apparently. Bit like Harry. I don't know if they'll, because it seems like really dark this episode, but then
the whole season has been dark. They said it was going to be light-hearted.
Yeah, but it's like Harry and his whole condition has been quite a comedic thing. So
Well,
I
it's
don't know
quite
if is everyone just gonna be walking around like just being idiots?
Oh god.
Is that what this is gonna be? So I don't know. Also, one thing I want to note from the promo is something I absolutely love, which is DeVoe saying, "Run, Mr. Allen, run." Love that. It's just one of those classic lines from The Flash. It's a kind of a different interpretation of it, and just seeing DeVoe say it was really cool. Because again, I like DeVoe in this episode already, because he's like he was. It's back like the good old days.
Back when he was a good villain.
Yeah, back when he was good and interesting, back in the first 9 episodes. But I mean, we don't really know that much about this finale, and it's hard to discuss it.
We know the mystery girl's going to be in it.
Oh yeah, so that's kind of like the one final big mystery of the season that is the only thing that's particularly holding my interest.
Yeah.
Is the mystery girl. So she's going to get revealed, her identity is going to get revealed, and also potentially the season 5 villain, which is likely to be Chikada at this point, although I don't want that, but okay.
Godspeed!
No, I don't want Godspeed. I want Cobalt Blue. I wanted Cobalt Blue for season 4. I wanted him now.
Godspeed.
I mean, the rumor is that the final line of the season is going to be, I think it's Cisco saying, "Lightning Bolt Dagger, ? Good or bad?" Now, the character with Lightning Bolt Daggers in the comics is Chikada, but I feel you could relate that to Cobalt Blue, because he has like a lightning bolt sword type thing.
Yeah.
So I feel you could do that. Plus, also, if the mystery girl is Dawn Allen, that would make her Cobalt Blue's niece. Now, the only thing with that is I don't think the identity of Cobalt Blue would be the same in the show as it is in the comics. I don't think they'll do Barry's long lost brother. I don't think they'll do that.
No.
Unless he's an alternate universe thing, which is very possible.
Could.
And perhaps, but then would that mean that Dawn Allen's from that Earth as well? It just kind of complicates things. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably more likely to be Chikada just because of all that. It could just avoid all that completely. But personally, I'd love it to be Cobalt Blue.
Yeah. Plus the actor, I can't remember what his name is now, but the actor who played, Eddie Thorne, who obviously a lot of people think, Rick Cosnet, the people who think he could play Cobalt Blue. He did tweet about season 5, didn't he? Which seemed a bit weird, because you wouldn't usually do that if you're not on the show. Yeah,
it is a shame, because I think that Eddie Thorne coming back in some capacity, even if it is Rick Cosnet playing Cobalt Blue, would be something to behold, and I think that he'd be really good in that role. And I've been pining for this for a long time. I've really wanted Cobalt Blue on the show for a long time, so to see him come in season 5 would be great. Plus, I think in terms of the show's natural progression, it would work to have him. Plus, I've been reading up on Chikada ever since this rumor started coming in. He just doesn't interest me, and he sounds very similar to DeVoe, because he seems like he wants, he has like this abusive relationship with his wife, and then he's driven down this path of guilt, and then he wants to, he can absorb other people's like bodies and souls to add more life to himself and to extend his life, which DeVoe can technically do. So it just sounds too similar to DeVoe, and I don't want that. Plus, I know they said they wouldn't do another speedster, but Cobalt Blue is technically not a speedster. He derives energy from the Speed Force, but he's not technically a speedster.
No.
So he can't run at super speed like Barry can. So again, it would be slightly different. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Got a couple more days to go, so. But I'm kind of excited for this finale.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, I'm just more hoping it isn't going to suck like season 3's. Just don't be as bad as season 3's finale.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I don't think anybody can be as bad as that.
No.
That finale was tragic. Right, should we move over to the best show?
The best. The best.
Right. Spoilers ahead. I mean, I don't know why I don't say that for everything, to be honest. But major spoilers ahead for the Arrow season 6 finale. This is going to be a full-on in-depth discussion.
And maybe even the whole season. Probably the whole season. In fact, definitely the whole season.
Yeah. I just need to... We've been talking so much. It's become so dark in this room without a light on. I can't even see my nose.
Oh my
So I got to turn my
God.
light on. So you can give your overall thoughts on this episode while I go do that.
Okay. Well, this episode was great. I really liked it. Obviously, I had a lot of expectations considering the finale we had last year was the best episode of Arrow ever. I thought this was really, really good. I've seen some people hate it online. I personally disagree with it. I know. I really liked it. The action was probably some of the best of this, not just this season, I think of Arrow in general, like of how well it was done. I mean, James Bamford is like the king when it comes to action scenes. Like, he's so good. I thought just Diaz in this episode was really cool. I loved how just mad he got. Like, just by the end, he didn't give a shit. He just killed people left, right, and centre. That was awesome. I really liked the ending, how they set up, season 7 with Oliver obviously going to prison. I thought what they did with Lance in this episode, especially his stuff with Oliver, was amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did well up when Lance died, and obviously Oliver and Quentin had that conversation about Quentin being a good dad to Oliver. Like, there's so much to talk about this episode. I really did enjoy this episode. The only real nitpicks I had with it was Anna totally disappearing for the second half of the episode with no mention.
Yeah, I'm surprised he made it out of this season alive.
Yeah, I thought originally that maybe he would die, and I don't know why I have the feeling in the back of my mind that maybe he did die in the episode, and that's why I wanted the second half, but they took the scene out because I just found it so weird that after that phone call with Diaz, we don't see him for the rest of the episode. He's not even mentioned. I just found that really strange.
Yeah, because I was so adamant he was going to die this season just because of everything that's gone on with him and Diaz and him kind of going back to Oliver's side. I thought, yeah, he's dead because Diaz doesn't take no shit. So I was like, but no, he made it out alive, which shocked me. I think the opening action sequence of this, talking about the action, was so good. Like, just Oliver, Team Arrow, and the FBI just storming the SCPD, or the SCPD, was sick.
Oh, it was so good. Like,
because every member of Team Arrow got a moment to shine there.
Yeah,
and that was awesome. Also, one interesting point is actually Oliver gives Diggle another Green Arrow suit, so he's just kind of made a Green Arrow suit out, which is funny because I'm pretty sure Cisco made the one he wears now. So
yeah.
Where did you get this other one from? So he gets another Green Arrow suit and gives it to Diggle, and then Diggle has an amazing line, which is complete BS, where he says, "Oh, our argument was never about the uniform." Okay, yes it was, but we'll move on. we resolved that, but we'll move on. And he says, and he actually turns it down. He says, he basically does the Batman thing, where he says, "Oh, this is a symbol," and then if there's more than one, it diminishes that. But obviously, given the end of this season, obviously, like we discussed earlier with the crossover news, I feel like perhaps Diggle may take up this mantle again at some point.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to put on the hood again.
Yeah, I mean, Star City's going to need a new Green Arrow, and he's got a suit, and he can do it. So, also, I mean, I quite liked Diggle as the Green Arrow at the start of the season. I thought it was quite an interesting choice.
Nah, it got really old after the second episode. It got so boring because
I just thought it was quite interesting the way they had to resolve different issues.
It was interesting, but it was interesting just because of the idea. But I feel like it's one of them things that only works for an episode or two. The fact that they did it for 5 episodes was just too long, and they just didn't go anywhere with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool back in season 1 when he had to go out there as the Hood to protect Oliver when he was being arrested. Then he was on house arrest. But I quite liked it at the start of the season when, because Diggle can't use a bow and arrow because he's just not an archer like Oliver is. So they get him a crossbow, which I thought was quite interesting. Also, one thing I want to bring up as well, in this whole Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow thing, and they're all saying, "Oh yeah, they have all this evidence against him," and then he's like, oh yeah, so Roy Harper's not the Green Arrow, Tommy Mills not the Green Arrow. Has nobody ever mentioned the fact that, oh yeah, at some point earlier, like in 2017, the Green Arrow was black at a point? Has no one mentioned this? Like, has no one brought this up? That, oh yeah, the Green Arrow was black and he was using a crossbow. Like, I just find this really weird.
No,
Like,
but they don't like to focus on skin color. They don't want to be racist.
yeah, I mean, obviously they can't bring this up, but it's just something that's really obvious. It's like, oh yeah, he was black. His skin color completely changed. So anyway, I think Diggle is definitely going to take up this mantle. When we arrive back in season 7, that's how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that'll be a really interesting point in the crossover if the Green Arrow in the crossover is actually Diggle. I think that'd be really interesting to see. I don't know if they'll do it, because personally, I think Oliver will be out by then. I honestly do, but who knows? We got a great scene which I really loved, the Room of Explosives, as I like to call it, where we got a brilliant bit of development for Renee.
Yeah.
Renee was so good in this episode again, as he was. He's been really good the past couple of weeks.
So he's redeemed himself now.
He's fine. He's done it, and basically he's trapped in this room completely full of explosives with a few other members of the FBI. And there's that other FBI agent who is like, "Oh yeah, we're all gonna die," and Renee basically accepts it. He pulls out his phone and starts calling his daughter, not telling her that he's gonna die, but just saying how much he loved her and how he's proud of her. And it was a really good scene for Renee. Just to kind of see him. And I honestly thought, I was like, they could kill Renee here.
Yeah.
They could do it. Because Renee's kind of been set up for a death, I think, potentially, all season. And I thought, I mean, if they wanted to do it, this is the perfect opportunity. And I thought perhaps it was going to happen. Especially because Samandra Watson was in the room as well. But they do get out. Because there's that other FBI agent in that room who freezes. And Renee dives back in and gets her, which... I don't see the point in that. I don't know what that was.
Unless
about.
they're going to bring her back and make her his love interest next season.
That's what I was thinking. Because that's the only sort of thing I can think is that. But I don't know. It seems like a very irrelevant character back if they were going to do that.
It does seem a little bit pointless because she didn't really do anything else to the whole episode. I'm pretty sure she didn't even appear for the rest of the episode. So
no, she didn't. So it's just like I don't get the point in that. But this is followed up by a great scene where we get another like Oliver Renee scene. Where Oliver basically said, everything you said to your daughter, I also, believe in you. And there's a great line as well where he says, when I first found you, you were just a thug with an awful costume, which is, that's a really good line. And even though that is the most comic book accurate suit I think the CW have ever done, was Wild Dog's original suit, because that was dead on. Although I do like his season 6 suit because it had to evolve in some way. But, it's a good line. I enjoy that. And just that, again, that reconciliation between Oliver and Renee, which I never thought we were going to get, to be honest, given how Renee's been this season. I mean, he tried to kill her with an axe, so I kind of thought, not coming back from that. Yeah, I really like this reconciliation between these two, and I really like these scenes. I just think they're really nice. I think we need to discuss the elephant in the room, which is Quentin. I think we have to do it, I'm afraid.
We didn't. Just to be clear, we did prepare ourselves so we wouldn't cry like babies when we knew what was going to happen. Oh, but the scenes with him, I was like, I failed to not get the feels in any of them because I was like,
I mean, Quentin was actually quite smart in this episode because, I mean, we knew the death was coming. We knew it was coming, and I kind of thought maybe I'd be better in the situation because I knew it was coming. But there's even the scene where him and Oliver are talking, and they're talking about the old times, and it's like, oh, he's gone, and it's just, I mean, it's a great conversation though. It's a great scene, and the fact where it even asks him, how did you pass that lie detector back in season 1 when he arrested him? And it was because obviously Quentin did arrest him back then, and it was and he passed the lie detector, and he just says, oh yeah, it's all about controlling your heartbeat and things. Really great moment, but it's just again talking about the old times, and Quentin's dead.
As soon as a character talks about, oh, remember the old times, they're fucking dead. They're dead.
Yeah. And but this was actually quite smart because Quentin kind of inadvertently brings up this, what was it, like a tracker type thing?
He had a pacemaker because he got it at the end of season 2 when I think a Mirakuru soldier threw him, because that was something that I always it was always a complaint I had with the season 2 finale, which was why they brought that up but then never explained it again, because I think the only time they really made a big deal out of it was I think the first half of season 3 when Sarah died, and Laurel said, "I can't tell my dad because he's got a pacemaker, so he could kill him." And like, ever since then, they've never brought it up. So, like, that was funny because I almost forgot about it completely. I'm pretty sure, like most people did, that he had a pacemaker. But it was smart of him to bring it up so that when he met Diaz, like, Oliver could use it as a tracker to find him. That was really smart.
It could lead him to Diaz and lead him to Laurel and also lead him to Quentin. So Quentin actually goes and meets with Diaz and says, "Look, I need to see Laurel before I agree," because Diaz wants him to sign off the deal for the FBI to get out of Star City. But he, in exchange for Laurel's life, so he just says, "Okay, let me see Laurel, and then we can get on with this deal." And basically, obviously, Diaz kind of screws him over and throws him in jail or in captivity with Laurel. And then we get the moment we were all not waiting for at all, which can I just say, I was right in my prediction. It was the countdown. I just want to say that.
Yeah, but I thought it was as well.
Yeah, but I said it first.
Oh,
so
no.
So shut your face.
I said shut up.
So Diaz does the countdown, and he shoots Quentin in the chest.
He shot him in the stomach, actually.
Close enough.
It's not, though. There's like a headspace difference.
Doesn't matter. Quentin gets shot, right? Man got shot, right? And see, it's not even funny. That joke doesn't even. It's not even funny with Quentin. It's just not.
You made it more depressing.
But anyway, after he gets shot, this is when Team Arrow and the FBI bust into this little, this little factory type thing that he's in, and there's a big fight, and we actually have a really nice team up between Dinah and Laurel. That was really cool.
That was cool.
Like the two canaries kind of helping Quentin out. That was really nice because Quentin, he's not dead yet. He's not dead at this point. So they have her, and he they take him out, which was nice. But we do get an amazing fight scene here with Oliver versus Diaz.
This was dope. I loved it. The only thing I had small nitpick. It was so obvious that
he has a stunt double.
He has a stunt. Kirk Acevedo had a stunt double, which pisses
you
me
can
off.
See his face.
Which pisses me off because he's not like got a shit build on him. It's just the fact that his stunt double is so skinny in comparison. He's just not as big.
Yeah.
But no, the scene was dope. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, this is the fight I've kind of been waiting to see. Because one of my complaints with Diaz, although I've liked him mostly, especially recently, he's just kind of... I haven't really enjoyed him as much recently because I feel like he's not been established well. And this is mostly because he wasn't introduced early enough. And obviously now he does survive the season. But like, I've always wanted... Because they've always kind of hinted at the fact that this guy's an amazing fighter, but we never really see it. And this is where we actually got to see him. And he handles himself completely against Oliver. This fight was so good just to see him and Oliver fighting on this rooftop. A classic rooftop fight in the finale. We always get one of those. And
so awesome. Like the music as well by Blake Neely during that scene. Jesus
Blake
Christ.
Neely is a god. He just is.
I hope somebody is smart enough to be able to like get the music from that scene because I need it now. It is amazing.
It'll be in the soundtrack when they release it.
Yeah, goddamn. Cannot wait.
When did they release the soundtracks? When did they release those?
I think they released them like late September, early October, because I think it was the same for season 5. If I remember correctly.
I need that dragon theme.
Oh, goddamn.
Amazing. But we do get this fight. Oliver does eventually win by stabbing him with an arrow.
I love how he stabs him and he just gets back up immediately because he's that much of a beast.
But then this is when Laurel comes out around the corner and just says, "I'm ending this," and just screams him off that building.
See,
and he goes flying into the water.
And all them Olicity fans were like, "Oh my god, Laurel, she let him live on purpose." I'm just like,
no, she clearly tried to kill him.
Oh my, they're so fucking dumb. They are. I can't stand them when they're like that. Like, clearly she was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing was, when she blew him off that building, I was like, oh, he's dead. But then as soon as I saw the water splash, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah. I need more Kirk Acevedo. Can't wait to see him in London. That's the only plug I'm doing for Heroes and Villains. I don't need to do 4.
Well, we are going to be doing a plug later on, so stick around for that. I mean, it is... I can see where some people are coming from by saying, oh yeah, well, Laurel... Yeah, Oliver had him, whatever. But at the end of the day, one thing you need to look at is Oliver wouldn't have killed him. Probably not. whereas Laurel actually tried to. And I think it's better that Laurel actually tried to kill him. And yeah, she failed because he. Well, I wouldn't say she technically failed. It's just he happened to land in water.
But now he's got no criminal empire because all of his men have been exposed.
It's all been taken down. But he now has the longbow hunters. But we'll get onto that.
Why did they never show up? Why did they mention them at the very start?
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto it. But yeah, so Diaz escapes, and this is the last time we see Diaz, I think, isn't it? Until the very end.
Yeah, the very end.
For like 2 seconds, but so Diaz is alive, confirming all of those rumors and predictions that we all had. But then we go to the most heartbreaking scene, maybe in the history of Arrow, ever, where we have this incredible scene with Oliver and Quentin in the hospital room together. And this was when I started to really tear up.
Yeah,
this was it.
God damn.
I mean, all the chats that Oliver and Quentin have, especially in the past couple of seasons, have been so well written, so well acted, and so impactful, because Quentin has basically transitioned from the disapproving father figure to the accepting, loving father to Oliver, where even though obviously he's not his dad, he kind of has become that father figure in Oliver's life that he doesn't have anymore. And you really get to see that, and even cement that in this scene where obviously Oliver said, I had a great father. Quentin says, Robert was a good man, and he said, I wasn't talking about my father. And he meant Quentin. And that was when I was gone. Right, I'm going to say full disclaimer, I was crying my eyes out in this episode. And this was when I started to cry. Was just when he said that, because this was just like, it was such a touching scene, and it was so well done. And it's just, I can't believe how good it was. I mean, how are you getting up on the scene?
I'm already tearing up now when you reset.
I am now. We're gonna start crying on camera.
God, it was so good. I mean, I've always said it. Like, Paul Blackthorne is probably one of, if not the best actors in the Arrowverse, I'd say. But him and Steven, their chemistry together and just their acting when they're on screen together, it's almost on a different level. Like, it's so good. Just that scene in itself, it was probably easily one of the most emotional moments in Arrowverse ever. Like, it was so good. Just the dialogue in itself, and it, like you said, it really brought their kind of relationship full circle. Like you said, from disapproving father to, you know, Laurel, who obviously was completely against Oliver, to now to the point where they can basically call each other father and son because of how close they are. It was just so well done and honestly phenomenal. Like, obviously, I give Guggenheim and Miracle a lot of crap for the writing, but I'll give them credit in that scene. I thought it was so well done. Like, to me, this felt like, I don't know, I only just really thought about this like a few days ago, but Quentin's death felt very similar to Laurel's, except this was done far better because of the way that they respected it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was different in some ways, in the fact of how Quentin died made more sense than Laurel's, and also the fact we don't actually see him physically die, like that happens off screen. But that scene in itself was enough for me because of just how emotional it was. Because I think at that point you knew it was going to happen, so I think it did it did what it was meant to do, which was to get you emotional. So no, I thought it was phenomenal.
I heard some people complain saying that it's lazy that he died off screen, but I actually think it's more impactful.
Yeah, the fact that Oliver
going on.
Yeah, because Oliver never got to say goodbye to him. Like, he didn't get the chance to say goodbye to him. And I think also, like I said, I think the reason they did that was because they didn't want to make it too similar to Laurel's, and the fact that, he was in a hospital, he got stabbed / shot, we get to see him die. Like, the fact that it happened off screen, I feel like was a decision to not make it feel too similar.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all say that the Lance family is the most unlikely family.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Lances, Sarah does return, as we all knew. I mean, this was confirmed a while ago that Sarah was going to be in this episode.
Yeah.
She's actually in it for one scene. Kind of a couple scenes.
Yeah.
She comes in, she meets up with Black Siren, this is what I don't understand. Because it seems like Black Siren called her, or like she told her about this, but how did she get in contact with the Wave Rider? I don't understand how this, because it seemed like, she was like, oh, thanks for coming, and it's just like,
well, maybe I don't know. Maybe Lance or Oliver gave her the contact for it, because Oliver knows the legends.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
So
I don't know.
maybe it was Oliver's
I find it a bit
idea to
weird.
contact them. Yeah, that didn't make sense, but it was cool seeing them interact. My one
Oh, it's
hope,
amazing.
yeah, my one hope is that we'll see this in the crossover, because my one
Oh, I
issue,
hope so. Yeah.
because I was really annoyed when Black Siren wasn't in the Crisis on Earth X crossover, because I really wanted to see her and Sarah interact. So I just hope we get a chance with,
Especially now that we know there was like a Reichman of Laurel. There was Siren X. We saw
Yeah.
her on the Flash. Like they should have included her in the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
Sarah was in the crossover. So I mean,
yeah. Fingers crossed. Hopefully they explore more of that in the future, because I think that's really interesting to see.
yeah. But going back to Quentin's death, as I was saying a minute ago, the fact it was off screen, I think, is more impactful because this is when Oliver gets arrested. The FBI come up and say it's time, and this is kind of something he was hiding all episode. Cause we all kind of assumed that perhaps the second thing he said to Samandra Watson, like because she had that second deal, was that he was going to give himself up. And basically, he kind of hides it. Like Felicity kind of knows he's hiding something all episode, and he doesn't quite reveal what it is. And then it all kind of comes to blows where they come in and just arrest him. And I like the fact that obviously because Oliver, he's so noble as a hero, and he's so good for his team, really, that Renee's kind of first reaction is, "Oh, so you're arresting us?" And then she's like, "I thought we had immunity," and he's like, "Yeah, you do because of him." And Oliver is just in handcuffs. And Felicity's kind of freaking out. But then we get that doctor who's been in the show since season 1. She's been there for ages. She comes out and says Quentin ceased. And like I said, I think it's more impactful the fact it was off screen because you have this thing where he's getting arrested in this massive frenzy and then it just stops
Yeah.
because of this revelation. And just seeing Oliver's reaction, his face just drops. And the moment that got me, I mean, I was crying by this point, but this is when I started full on bawling, was when he looked at Sarah and said, "I'm so sorry." That killed me. I mean, because Sarah Sarah didn't see him alive.
Yeah, it's God.
I mean, not only did she not get to say goodbye, she didn't see him alive. Like, she literally arrived at the hospital and he was dead. And it's just like,
I hope
jeez.
they better explore this on Legends, because if they pretend this didn't happen,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because obviously Legends is very different in tone and it's a lot more silly and a lot more fun. But I hope that they do explore this because they need to actually, show this about how she's affected by this, because, I mean, it is her dad's death at the end of the day.
yeah,
But, I mean, oh my god, I've never cried so much at a TV show. I mean, I cried at Laurel's death, I cried at Martin Stein's death in the crossover, but Quint, I thought I was ready for it. I wasn't. Hit me like a ton of bricks.
oh God,
I fell apart emotionally. But this is when Oliver is then escorted out by the FBI, and he does the amazing speech we've kind of been waiting for him to do all season,
yes,
where he outs himself as the Green Arrow. I love the fact that he literally looks directly down the barrel of the camera and says, "I am the Green Arrow." It's like the Tony Stark moment from Iron Man. Just "I am the Green Arrow." So good. So good.
yeah, I
And
can't
then
wait.
which is just wow.
It's gonna be so cool.
I love the fact that he goes through all these different things. He says, so many people have given their lives all in the name of my crusade. Roy Harper is not the Green Arrow, so Roy Harper's name's cleared now. So perhaps this is how. Perhaps it isn't Roy and Oliver next season. Perhaps Roy comes back to Star City
Maybe.
because now his name's cleared. So he's no longer a fugitive. He also clears Tommy Merlin's name, although that's kind of irrelevant. And, he says, "I'm looking to my friends and to my allies to continue to keep fighting to complete our goal to save our city." And this is why we bring up the Diggle thing, because when he's saying this, the camera cuts to Diggle and he looks at the suit. So again, it kind of infers the fact that perhaps Diggle will take up the mantle again. So this was such an incredible ending.
Yeah,
And we do see him finally get locked up in prison. We see the bars close, and it's... we didn't actually see the name of the prison. It is on the back of his jumpsuit, but I watched it in really bad quality, and I didn't actually see what it was.
I think from what I saw, it said Slabside. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Slabside. but he does get arrested. He gets locked up. He's in this horrible prison. Like all the prisoners in there are just saying like you're gonna die in here. Like,
No, do they not understand who the fuck he is?
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like he could kill you all like in 10 seconds. But yeah, Oliver is now locked up. He's in prison, and that is how the season ends. That's the ending shot. Wow, what an ending!
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be. I don't know what they're gonna do.
No, that's the best part about it. I think is that I have no clue where they are going next season.
And the best part is they can't fuck it up as much as they did with last season's cliffhanger and what they did in this premiere for this season. They can't fuck it up as much.
It can't be that worse, no.
Oh dear God! But no, they're just as a whole. The finale was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, it was just like there are so many things though that there are a couple of things like they do bring up the longbow hunters in this episode, which, given the fact that Diaz survived, Diaz has links to the longbow hunters. It basically confirms that the longbow hunters. I think Mark Guggenheim has said this as well, that the longbow hunters are going to be the villains next season alongside Ricardo Diaz, which is great. I mean, I wanted that to happen ages ago at the start of the season when Ricardo Diaz first kind of took over. I was like, can we please bring in the longbow hunters because it just works so well.
Yeah, I thought that as well originally because when they said that it would be a team of villains taken down against Team Arrow, that's what I thought. Yeah, that it'd be the longbow hunters, but then obviously that turned out to be a bunch of lies because we didn't really have a bunch of villains apart from 4 episodes.
No, I think that perhaps, this whole longbow hunters thing is going to be completely different from the comics because the longbow hunters in the comics, a couple of them actually are characters for Appeal on Arrow, like Vertigo and also Danny Brickwell.
Yeah.
But then there's also Killer Moth. So I don't know. Killer Moth is a very silly Batman villain. So I don't know if they'd do that. Although I'd love to see them do Killer Moth on Arrow just to see how they do it. I mean, they did Firefly. So they could do Killer Moth, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see who the longbow... I wouldn't be surprised if the longbow hunters are just random kind of like skilled assassins. They're all just new characters.
Yeah.
I'm happy that...
Bring back Komodo. We need him.
Yes.
Bring him back.
Yes.
He was awesome.
But I do really like this idea going into the finale. I really like that.
Yeah.
And then also like...
Yeah, there's the Quadrant as well. Because remember, Cyrus Broderick's still alive.
Well, the thing is, I don't think the Quadrant's still a thing. I think that... I know he's still alive, but he's literally the only one. I don't think the Quadrant's really a thing anymore.
Could be.
It could be, but I personally don't think... I think it's going to be the Longbow Hunters. I don't think...
I meant it more as in like a side villain, as in like a side villain. So obviously Longbow Hunters be the main villain, but maybe the Quadrant can help them.
Yeah, I mean potentially, it could still happen. I personally don't see it.
Oh.
But there's so much that we don't know going into this next season, and I love that. I mean, there are a couple things that we do know. Obviously, we know that Roy Harper is coming back next season as series regular. In terms of real life stuff, Beth Schwartz is now the showrunner. So there's a lot of things that are changing, and obviously they did kind of hype up this episode being, oh yeah, it's a game changer, and it really is.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to follow through with that, but they really did. So fair dues. Because I really have no clue where this is going anymore, and I love that.
Yeah, because originally when I heard that Oliver was going to jail, I thought that it would maybe be the FBI tasking him with getting someone out of prison.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect them to like publicly out him as the Green Arrow to everyone. Like I didn't think that was going to happen. So yeah, no. I'm surprised by that. It's definitely a game changer. Actually,
so do you think this is the best episode of the season? It's definitely up there.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's the top three episodes.
Yeah, top 3 definitely.
In terms of my favorite, it's got to be 18. It's got to be because just because having Josh Segarra back was so amazing, and it made me realize just how great season 5 was, and how great of a villain he was compared to Ricardo Diaz, who although I really like as a villain, he wasn't on the same level as Prometheus. He was just phenomenal. And I just thought the whole idea of that episode and the amount of development for Oliver was just great. I really liked that episode. Like, I couldn't actually name a single problem with the episode. Whereas with all the other ones, I do have like a few nitpicks. With that one, I don't have one.
For me, I think my favorite episode is still 21. I love that episode so much, just because it was so different and it felt so fresh, and it was like the writing was incredible in that episode, and just the amount of intensity that was there.
Yeah.
I loved episode 21. I really did. So that's probably my favorite episode still. But I'd say that maybe 18 was my second favorite, and then the finale was my third favorite.
Yeah, I'd say
our top threes are the same.
Yeah, I'd say the finale was third, episode 21 second, and then 18 at one. Actually, now that we've said that, since obviously the season is over, what is your thoughts on the overall season as a whole?
I don't know how in depth should we go with this, because do we want to do a full season spoiler cast, or do we want to just?
I guess we could do a full season spoiler cast, but I guess we could just say like brief thoughts on the season as a whole.
Yeah. I think that this season has been decent. I think it's had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It's not the best season of Arrow, but it's definitely not the worst. It's a very strong season. I enjoyed a lot of the elements in it. There were definitely some really bad points. It had a very weak opening, I think. Just given the fact that it completely undercut everything in that season 5 finale.
Yeah.
And everything with the Caden James thing was really bad. It was only when episode 13 was the turning point. Episode 15 was cementing. Episode 18, it got good.
Yeah.
And ever since episode 18, the season was brilliant. Like, it was an amazing turnaround in those last like 5 episodes. But until you got to episode 18, it was kind of up and down, and it kind of played with lots of different interesting elements. Some of them were better than others. Also, there's some really underwhelming stuff. Like I said, the actual effects of the season 5 finale were just not there. The vigilante reveal was a complete drop of the ball completely. But then there is some amazing stuff. Like, Ricardo Diaz was great, I think. Although I do have some issues with him. I loved Kirk Acevedo in the role. He's amazing. And I really enjoyed his character overall. We had the amazing Deathstroke 2-parter, which we were waiting for. That was great. Some of the best episodes. We did have Prometheus return, which was just incredible. And episode 21 is incredible for me. And also we had Tommy Merlin return in that episode as well. So I enjoyed season 6 a fair bit. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I kind of rank it somewhere in the middle.
I'd say for me, I'm generally more harsh with my stuff. If it weren't for these last 6 episodes, I probably would have given the season like a 5.5 or probably like 5.5, just because of how inconsistent it was. But I would say with the last 6 episodes, because they were all like at a minimum of a 9, like they're all great, I would say that if I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it a 7. Simply because of the fact that those last 6 episodes were so good, and I was happy to finally see it consistent. Because I think compare these last 6 episodes to the previous last 6 episodes you had in season 5, I thought this season they were far more consistent.
Yeah.
The season as a whole, I really can divide it into the first 2/3 being incredibly inconsistent. You had really good episodes like the Deathstroke 2-parter, episode 13, episode 15, but then you had really like pretty underwhelming episodes like episode 1, like just with the whole Lian Yu, how they sorted that out, and then some really just awful episodes like episode 4 was awful, episode 7, episode 9, episode 14, and the 17 Diggle versus Oliver shouting fest. Like, I want to be Green Arrow. No, I'm Green Arrow. Oh my god. But yeah, I think 7 is a fair score for it. I could have been a lot worse and put something a lot lower, because I think we all judge it more harshly because we had season 5. I mean, I still think I agree with the people who say it's decent, but I can't give it any more than a 7 simply because I can't overlook how underwhelming and bad it was at times. So I think 7's a good score. It's definitely better than season 4 without a doubt. I'd say it's more comparable to season 3, but I would still say it's a bit better. And then obviously,
I'd say it's a bit better than season 3. I think in terms of my personal, I guess we can rank them, I suppose. For me, it goes bottom to top, goes 4, 3, 6, 5, And then I've always struggled with 2 and 1. I kind of love them equally.
For me,
So there you go.
yeah. For me, it's 5. Well, not 5. Sorry.
5.
It goes 4, then piece of shit,
Yeah.
then 3, 6, 5. And this is contradicting myself because when I did my season 5 review, I said it was my second favourite, but it isn't anymore. So 5, and then between 2 and 1. I admit for a while I struggled where to put where, but I'd say it'd go 1, then 2. And the reason I put season 2 is simply for the fact that I thought Deathstroke was an improvement of a villain, even though Malcolm Merlin was great. And I just loved that we had a villain who was so developed. And I liked the arc.
That was a massive.
And I liked the arc that Oliver went on at the start of the season from this really broken person who was just consumed by the guilt of Tommy thinking of him as a killer to then at the end of the season defeating Slade without killing him. Like that kind of character progression and that full circle. I think that's the reason I prefer season 2. Although I will admit season 1, I just loved it because he just went around killing people. No, I'm not going to lie, that was fun. But
yeah, to be fair, I mean, this is why I struggle because also season 1 is what truly made me fall in love with the show. But also, I think the reason I struggle with it, although I would say season 2 is a better season critically, I think that the reason I love season 1 so much is the simplicity of it because it was literally just him, the list. Yeah, just him. Every episode was just him going after someone. And then they started bringing in this overarching story with Merlin, the Archer, the Undertaking, and everything like that. And it all wrapped up and came together. I think that's why I really like season 1 was just the story of it. But I will say season 2 probably is better. And also, like I say, the villain, obviously Deathstroke was far... He had a massive amount of development on his side. He had basically 2 seasons building up to him, which was great. But yeah. Wow, what a ride.
yeah, what a journey. Like, and the saddest part is season 7 could be the last, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be sad if Arrow... Well, I would be sad if Arrow ended. I'd be extremely sad if Arrow ended, but I think season 7 is the right place for it to end, I do. So, if it ends, then that's fine. So there you go. That's season 6, done.
Done and dusted.
So I guess we'll do a similar thing like this with Flash next week, as it is the finale for that next week, so... Oh, well, this week.
Yeah, and then we're left with the best show to cover for the last God knows how many episodes. Kill me now, please.
Also, we will be... Because one thing I just want to note is something me and Dan have been discussing is that we always record these on the weekends, which is either Saturdays, Sundays, or in this case, Mondays, if we can't. Which has always been a bit of an awkward spot because it's kind of the only time we can record. And because Arrow is on Thursdays... Oh, that's actually just reminded me of something else as well, which I'll bring up. But because Arrow was on Thursdays, because we would normally record on Thursdays, but we can't because that means we'd miss Arrow and we wouldn't be able to include it. So we've had to do it this. But now that Arrow's finished, we're going to go actually start recording on Thursdays, which means the episodes will probably go up a bit earlier now, which is good. But also, just thinking now, obviously, they did release the schedules at the CW upfronts.
Yeah.
And Arrow has now moved to Mondays, which makes our lives a lot easier because that means all the shows are going to be done by Wednesday, so we can do it on Thursday, so that's fine. So they probably will be up a bit earlier from now on. Probably thinking a bit more, probably Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because then that way we don't have to kind of like rush against time for, we've only got 1 or 2 days to upload it before it's irrelevant, so that'll help with that.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot better. So Thursday nights will be official recording night from next week onwards. And I'm actually quite happy that Arrow's moved dates, not just because of that, but also because it should help the show a little bit.
Yeah, just get more views.
Bit annoying on the YouTube side because
very
for
annoying.
the Legends and Arrow videos, but because I'd say Legends and Arrow are probably my 2 most popular kind of things. That's a bit annoying because they're on the same night now, but whatever, what can I do? It'll help Arrow improve, so hey. So, me and Dan also have a bit of an announcement to make. I've been plugging it all episode if you haven't noticed, but also I've chucked it in at the end of every single video. I noticed you did it in your review as well. But me and Dan are both going to be attending Heroes and Villains Fan Fest London in 2018, which is happening on Saturday and Sunday this week. Me and Dan are both going to be there on Saturday. This is a very exciting event. It's basically like a Comic-Con type thing, but it's very Arrowverse focused. It's not just Arrowverse, there's loads of other stuff, but Arrowverse definitely has a huge influence over it. Loads of the stars go there, there's loads of people going. Also, it's a big thing for big DC TV YouTubers in Britain. So one thing I'd like to announce here is that we're going to be doing a meetup. So it's going to be me, Dan, Boba Talks, and Ben, the DC TV show. We're going to be doing a meetup. We're going to be doing like this video live stream, I think, type thing that we're going to be doing. So that's going to be really fun. And basically, if you're at this event, if you're going on the Saturday and you see either me or Dan, I mean, I think we're going to be together quite a bit.
Yeah.
So if you see us, then just come up and say hi. It'd be awesome to meet some of you guys. If you are going to be attending,
Yeah.
it's going to be an awesome event. I'm going to be meeting quite a lot of people. Obviously, I've mentioned that I'm meeting Stephen Amell, which makes me want to cry. I'm also meeting Josh Zagara, who I think you're meeting as well, aren't you?
He's the only person I've actually booked with so far.
Yeah, you should get Kirk Acevedo though.
I do want to.
Yeah, so I'm meeting Josh. I'm also meeting David Ramsey, who is of course Diggle, and I'm also meeting Danielle Panabaker, who is Caitlin on The Flash. So I'm meeting those 4 people, and like I said, we're also going to be doing that meetup with the other YouTubers. So it's going to be a really fun event. It's going to be awesome, and there's going to be quite a lot of videos going up. And I don't know what we'll do. What were we going to do with the podcast? Podcast's going to be weird because I guess maybe the week after that we can do a kind of discussion on it, I suppose, because we only have Supergirl to review.
Yeah, I guess because it'll help us fill in time. Like, I guess we could maybe include it in the news section, just as in like that we went to there. We can maybe cover anything that they announced at the panels, because on the Saturday that we're going, they have got an Arrow panel there for the heroes.
Yes, I will be attending that.
Yeah, so we'll be able to discuss that. We can, because I definitely think me and Declan will be there for it. Obviously, we won't be able to go in the privileged VIP seated area. We'll have to fucking stand up like peasants.
Yeah.
But we'll try and report anything we get back from there, and obviously on the Sunday as well, because we won't be there. It's kind of annoying though, because on the Sunday, that's pretty much when most of the Arrowverse panels are.
Yeah, like the Legends panels then. Flash. Wait, the Flash doesn't have a panel, does it?
No, but like the Arrow one's there, the Stephen Amell one's there on that day as well.
And the Supergirl, one's a complete joke. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
It's literally Mechard Brooks and Tyler Hoechlin. That's literally all it is. I'm sorry, that's a joke.
I'm sorry, Ben. We're sorry.
I'm sorry. It's just the way the fact 2 characters they've got there is James Olsen and Superman. That's so funny. But yeah, I'm so excited for this event. I booked the tickets for this around this time last year.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. The fact I'm meeting Stephen Amell, who's like probably my favorite person in the world, is like just incredible. So it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can see some of you guys there. And like I said, we're going to be doing this big collaboration, so it's going to be...
Yeah. The big thing's going to be if anyone's actually going to know what I look like. If you want to know, by the way, just simply go on my channel and search for my Arrow Season 6 mid-season finale rant video. I recorded that entire video with face cam. You'll know what I look like.
Yeah.
That eliminates the effort of me having to make a video where I have to record myself on a phone.
Yeah, I mean, and in terms of me, I think most of you know what I look like anyway. I think you guys know my Twitter, my Instagram, and also I film a fair few videos of my face, so you guys all know me. So that's fine.
Mr. Professional.
I know. I just. So I think that does it. Is this our longest episode? Probably is.
Oh, this is probably going to take a shit ton of time to edit, but it's going to be worth it.
Oh, I like that quote. I know we got that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this. This is a great episode. This was a lot better than last week's.
Oh, a lot better. So much better.
I do want to apologize for last week's episode. It was terrible. We know it was. It was awful.
Yeah, we knew it was awful. We just went along with it.
Yeah, just went along with it. There's no point trying to deny it. But thank you guys for listening. Obviously, this was kind of like a big milestone for this because obviously this was the end of Arrow, so kind of a big discussion. I think we're going to do a big season 6 spoiler talk. We'll probably do it. When will we do that? Probably in the next couple of weeks. Probably.
Yeah, because obviously, I'd say sometime after next week. Because Flash will be over. We'll have a bit more time on our hands, so we'll have more chance to discuss it on here. Yeah,
so you can expect that in the next couple of weeks, as long with like a Flash one as well. They'll be within the next 2 to 3 weeks, respectively.
Yeah.
Also, like I said, next week will be the Flash finale, so we're going to do kind of similar to what we did here. We'll do that with Flash, and also we'll do big heroes and villains discussion as well.
Yeah.
Although that'll be the week after, actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Filming on Thursdays now. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of On a Dive podcast. If you did, make sure you give it a like, show your support, share this video with anyone you know who loves DC TV. I'm using my outro for some reason because I'm so used to saying it. And,
he's plugging.
I just naturally went into my outro because of the way I'm so used to saying it. It's just like I didn't even script that. It just kept happening. And then eventually I just
This
memorised
man's
it.
trying so hard to gain subs. I don't do any of this, and I'm the one
No,
with half the subscribers.
But anyway, thank you guys for listening to this episode, and if you enjoyed it, we hope to see you again in the next one.
See ya.